There are words that we caress with our gaze and others that we forget immediately after reading them. But then there are phrases that pierce us inside, that leave an indelible mark, as if someone had taken our heart in their hands and looked at it for the first time. This is the power of depth. This is the power of CARL Jung's words. Today I want to take you on a journey through 7 of his most powerful phrases. But they won't simply be quotes. Every word will be an invitation, a confrontation, a mirror. I warn you, this is not a light video, it is a journey into the soul. If you are ready, let's begin. The first phrase is, thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. Have you ever tried to remain silent in front of someone who has hurt you? Not exploding, not judging, making an authentic effort to understand instead of condemning? To truly think means to dig deep within ourselves, to seek the roots of a behavior, to explore the motivations that drive us to react a certain way. Judging, on the other hand, is easy. It's like throwing a stone into a pond without ever asking what lies beneath the surface. This phrase reminds us that understanding requires courage and that judging is the shortcut of the frightened soul. Every time we choose to understand instead of condemn, we are growing. It offers us the opportunity to transform our interactions, to create an environment where listening and empathy can thrive. It is an invitation to set aside prejudices and to see people for who they are, not for who we expect them to be. The second phrase says, the most terrifying thing is to be able to accept oneself completely. How many times have we pretended? How many masks have you worn today to seem stronger, calmer, more fitting? Truly accepting oneself is like stripping naked in front of a mirror, not just of the body but also of the soul. It is an act of courage in the face of our own fragilities. It is looking at our failures, our fears, our scars and saying, this is me, with all my imperfections, and that's okay. Self-acceptance is revolutionary. It is the first act of authentic love, but it is also scary because it implies surrender and saying goodbye to fiction, to finally live in truth. True acceptance requires time and patience, a journey that takes us to explore every corner of our soul, to recognize the dark sides and to integrate them into our identity. It is a process in which we learn to treat ourselves with kindness, to forgive ourselves for past mistakes, and to celebrate our victories, no matter how small or large. Self-acceptance is the key to an authentic and fulfilling life. Moving on, the third phrase states, loneliness does not come from not having people around, but from not being able to communicate the things that are important to you. Have you ever felt that sensation of being in a crowd and feeling completely alone? This is a deep loneliness that goes beyond the mere absence of companionship. True loneliness is not physical, it is emotional. It is when you have something inside that pulses, that burns, but you cannot share it with anyone because you are afraid of not being understood. Jung reminds us that human connection is not measured by likes or by presence, but by depth and the ability to share what is true. Every time we do not express what we feel, we isolate ourselves more and more, creating a wall around us that separates us from others. Perhaps the next time you feel lonely, ask yourself, am I really communicating who I am? True communication requires vulnerability and courage, but it is also the key to building authentic and meaningful relationships. It is an invitation to overcome our fears and to share what makes us unique, to create bonds based on authenticity and understanding. The fourth phrase tells us, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to understand more about ourselves. This is one of the most uncomfortable phrases because it implies responsibility. When someone makes you angry, irritates, or disturbs you, it's not just their fault. Often, it is a mirror, a reflection, a part of you that you refuse to look at. For example, if you are bothered by someone who is arrogant, ask yourself, have you perhaps repressed within you the desire to assert yourself? Are you afraid to express yourself? Have you ever denied yourself the right to shine? Jung teaches us that every negative emotion can be an opportunity, a key, a door toward self-knowledge. Every time we choose to look inside instead of pointing the finger outside, we are freeing ourselves. This process of introspection is fundamental to understanding our reactions and to growing as individuals. It is an invitation to explore our emotions, to not fear facing what bothers us, and to use these experiences as a tool for our personal evolution. The fifth phrase says, I am not what happened to me. I am what I chose to become. How many times have you defined yourself through your past? I was betrayed, I was abandoned, they abused my trust, I grew up in suffering. All of this is true and important to acknowledge, but you are not just this. You are not just the pain you have experienced. You are also the choice of what to do with that pain. You can be the person who breaks the chain, who transforms trauma into awareness, who makes the wound their strength. The past is part of you, but it is not your identity. You are the answer you choose to give to what you have lived, and in this lies your freedom. Every day you have the opportunity to start anew, to write a new story, to reinvent yourself. Past experiences can be a burden, but they can also become our gym, the place where we strengthen ourselves. Resilience comes from the awareness that, despite what has happened to us, we have the power to choose who we want to become. The sixth phrase states, he who seeks outside dreams. He who seeks inside lives. How many times have we let ourselves be distracted by appearances, by others' expectations, by material success? One can spend an entire life chasing imposed dreams, seeking happiness in what is external. But Jung invites us to reflect. True life, the authentic one, is found within us. It is in our deep desires, in our passions, in the courage to explore who we truly are. When we turn inside, we find the answers we were seeking outside. A deep connection with ourselves and a life lived authentically. This process of introspection allows us to discover our purpose, to embrace our aspirations, and to live in harmony with our values. It is a journey that requires patience and commitment, but the reward is immense. A life rich in meaning and satisfaction. Finally, the seventh phrase says, your vision becomes clear only when you can look inside your heart. The clearest and most authentic decisions come from listening to the heart. When we allow ourselves to feel and follow our intuitions, we live a full and meaningful life. In conclusion, these phrases by Carl Jung are invitations to an inner journey. They challenge us to explore our emotions and to find our authenticity. Each phrase is an opportunity to grow and live a fulfilled life. I hope these reflections have inspired you. Remember, the journey toward self-knowledge is continuous, and every step you take is directed toward freedom and fulfillment. If you have questions or want to share your reflections, I am here to listen to you and accompany you on this path. The beauty of life lies in our ability to evolve and embrace every part of ourselves. And if you too at this moment feel like digging deeper, if you have recognized something within these words, something that has touched deep chords, then do not ignore this call. Because sometimes your unconscious is already speaking to you. Only you can't translate its voice. That's why I want to suggest something special. A free path that will help you better understand your energy, your destiny, and your true nature through the ancient science of numbers. Discover your inner map with Royal Numerology. You just need to enter your birth date to receive a personalized, deep, and often surprising reading. Because knowing oneself has never just been a mental exercise. It is an act of love. So don't wait. Open that door. Discover who you really are. And if you feel that these words have resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and join us on the next journey into the soul. Each week we explore consciousness, silence, hidden truths. Because growing is not an option, it is a necessity of the soul. See you soon.